everybody. And how is freedom feeling for you today? So welcome to day 5. I just got out of the shower, so you can see my hair is all beautiful and wet. So that's what you're seeing. That's what's going on. So, and what better way to express yourself than to show up real and who you are? So that's what today is all about. So through this journey, you've been connecting in with various ways to feel freedom, whilst we've been exploring this concept of freedom and the guidance around the actions for healing and the things that we need to do. At the same time, you've been creating and collating sort of artifacts that connect you to this experience or this feeling of freedom for you. And today we're going to, at the end of our conversation, I'm going to talk to you about how to put together your freedom blueprint. And so it is day 5. So it's the last day that we are together with me sharing this information with you. But if you've seen in your email, and at the end of this, if you hang on, you are invited to a Freedom Live session on Tuesday night. So Tuesday night, I'll be doing the session live. That means it's interactive. You get to ask questions, share, explore, participate, and there we'll be doing a lot around how do you use your freedom blueprint? What are the ways to actually make this a very practical tool in your day-to-day experience of life? So I hope that you'll join for that. There's a limited amount of space, but we'll try and accommodate as many people as possible. And you can buy your ticket, and there is a voucher for the first, or discount for the first, I think, 20 people. All the details are in your email. So I really, really hope to see you there. And it's always different when it's live. You know, the guidance that comes forward is different. I'll be doing some readings in there. And so we'll all learn together. That's always the benefit of the live session. So today we are looking at this last card. We've been looking at, it's time to create the life you want to live, which is sort of this pinnacle of the pentacle. The top point, be brave. And we spoke a lot yesterday about the different ways to be brave, and probably a difficult topic for many yesterday. I saw lots of comments and thoughts and ideas, and really this idea of not seeing any of these things as weakness, but embracing them as part of our reality. And so we all have that victim and that addict in us, even if it's a slight obsession with something. That's an addiction to something, can be addiction to being right. But anyway, we've spoken about that quite a lot. Today, we're going to talk about this, speak your truth. And without a doubt, with so many of the people that I work with on a universal level and an individual level, the ability to express ourselves is really, really constrained. The fear of the rejection, the fear of, not being smart enough or not being loved enough or whatever it is. And we've so internalized this idea of swallowing our truth, swallowing our words, and holding ourselves back from what it is that we want to say and be and do in the world. And so today we're going to explore lots of different ways of thinking about this speak your truth card. And again, I want to start off today with reiterating this isn't about fight and aggression. We're not speaking our truth from a place of fear. That's why we had the be brave yesterday. We're speaking our truth from the place of courage. And remember, courage was that gentle approach to doing something different. So we need to learn what our voice sounds like when we're coming from that place of fear and reaction to when we're coming from the place of courage and creation. Very different voice, very different voice. And I want you to just start noticing that, what my voice is like when it's coming from the place of fear and reaction, and what my voice is like when it's coming from the place of courage and creation. Just noticing that as a starting point is really, really, really beautiful. So we're talking a lot around speak up, because the day you don't speak up for the things that matter to you is the day your freedom truly ends. And we don't know who this quote is from. You will see on the email, there's a link to all the quotes that have been used throughout this course for you to use to share on social media, however you would like to. Speak up, because the day you don't speak up for the things that matter to you is the day that your freedom truly ends. And so noticing this is that it's the things that matter to you And our cause, our mission, the things that we're drawn to want to resolve are part of our purpose in life. We all have something that really calls us to heal, to make better for ourselves and the world. And these are the things that we want to speak up about. Sadly, most of the time we're speaking up from the place of reaction and fear, and then that creates more of that drama in the world. So how do we shift that? How do we speak up so we can claim our freedom to express ourselves without it being contaminated by that fear and reaction energy we're in, that creation, the manifestation, that truly allowing things to become more? And we think of those foundations, those principles of freedom that we spoke about. How do we speak up with flow, with fantasy, with all the aspects of freedom, encouraging ourselves to feel that, because that is the important part. The reason we've been doing so much around the freedom blueprint in terms of the feeling of it is when you speak from that place, it's different. It's a different frequency, it's a different vibration. And so what you manifest and create is different. So we are really, really focusing today on one of the predominant chakras, the throat chakra. And the throat chakra, the Visuddha chakra, sorry, is the chakra that is sort of on a group consciousness level, the one that most is asking for healing at this point in time. And so you'll see some beautiful mantras here. My voice is strong. I listen with interest. And I want you to notice that I listen. I speak with love. I am a clear receiver. My voice is clear. I express my soul. I speak my truth. I speak with love. Just notice which one comes up for you. And I want you to, at this point in the video, even if you need to pause it, I want you to put your hand on your throat chakra in whichever way feels connecting and supporting to you. And just become aware of what it feels like. How open does it feel? How free does it feel? On a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being very free, 1 being not at all. What would you rate it? You don't have to know why. Is there any feelings that come up for you when you connect with this chakra? Just notice what needs to move and shift. This chakra is a really, really important one. It is the portal. Your neck, the throat chakra here, is the portal of truth. Everything that I express through here, through this portal, is what I'm giving life to. Everything I express is what I'm giving life to. Portals, remember when we did the create react, we worked with the Vesica Pisces, which is the portal. And the portal is a place of creation. This is a place of creation or a place of suppression. It's a place of expansion or a place of contraction. When we notice how the vocal cords work, they are like little elastic bands that are waiting for the vibration to move through them, to be able to cause space for the sounds to move through us. And as I express myself, it's this relationship of opening and closing of my vocal cords as a portal. Everything that is inside may want to come out. Some things want to stay in. This is the place, other than our hands, that is the way that we give life to our life. And there's many ways that this gets activated and used, which we'll talk about today. But at this point, just noticing what feelings come up. And as you place your hand there and you're becoming aware of how free is my throat, you can start to ask yourself, what do I need? What is it? There's many ways to heal the throat. I'm going to talk about some of them today. But you may be coming up with something that you can start to notice to claim my freedom. How do I heal this portal? What's dying to be said? What are you needing to listen to? And I really want you to, at this point, notice the relationship between listening and speaking. And if you notice the chakras that move through the portals, we've got little chakras that are here in front of our ears. We've also got ones behind. And just notice the relationship between the ears and the throat. And you'll see that there's sort of a downward triangle that exists there, which is the downward triangle that you see in the image there, and the symbol for the Vasudha chakra, the throat chakra. And I am slowing down and I am being still here, because often we bypass this, we don't connect. And so being able to notice this is really, really valuable for you at this part of your journey. And so as we notice that triangle between our ears and our throat, and we notice that as the portal for expression, this relationship between listening and speaking is part of the communication aspect of life, and the communication aspect of life impacts the community aspect of life. There is a dynamic in our communication style that impacts our relationships. It impacts our manifestation. It impacts the way we are perceived and the way we are embraced in the world. And so the first thing we can do is make sound to get our needs met. That relationship with how we ask for what we want and receive what we need. It's all housed in the how clear or wounded our throat chakra is. And so when we notice this dynamic between speaking and listening, this is a beautiful quote to really integrate. Speak, not just for the sake of speaking. Speak, not just to have your voice heard. Speak, not just to defend or attack. Speak in such a way that others love to listen to you. There's no point in speaking if nobody's listening. If everybody's arguing or fighting with you, then that's the energy that's going out. Speak in such a way that others love to listen to you. Speak in such a way that when you speak, people want to hear more. They show up, they engage. And so notice when I do communication training in corporates, and that sort of say, one of the things we talk about is what happens after you speak. What happens after you speak? People feel closer to you or more attacked by you? What happens after you speak? Have you created love, connection, or distance and aggression? Now, this doesn't mean not speaking our truth. This means we need to speak clearly about what's important to us, what our boundaries are, and we'll talk more about that today. But do people listen to you? Can they hear you? Can they hear you? And listen in such a way that others love to speak to you. So this triangle, this connection, is if anything's out of balance, maybe I listen in such a way that others love to speak to me, but I don't speak in such a way that others love to listen to me, or vice versa. What's the dynamic between receiving and giving? A portal. Receiving, giving. That infinity symbol of creation that is housed in the way we interact and communicate. Sorry, I just want to close a window. I'm not sure if you can hear the noise. If you can't, let it go. All right, so all that you're becoming aware of is important. Not with judgment, not with shame, not with any sort of dynamic, but just noticing the thoughts and ideas and the patterns that are coming up for you. So as we learn to speak our truth, there's a number of things we're going to go through today to talk about this. And this could be a full-on course all by itself. So I'm giving you a couple of top tips today, and we can explore them more if we need to later on. The first is we want to connect our voice to our heart. When we think of our voice as being this place of expression, this portal, we need to notice that chakra column that we've got going on. Through, and in the 5D level, the chakras are different, but I'm going to work with the 3D ones today, is how does the energy flow? And to the extent that we flow from our inner knowing, our insight from our third eye and our crown, our wisdom, to our throat, and then do we connect that to our heart? When we talk about truth, truth comes from a connection to wisdom and intuition. Your intuition resides behind the solar plexus in the heart. The heart is the filter for truth. The heart is the filter for truth. Now, if we don't have that flow, that connection happening between the wisdom, the insight, the love, then what we do is we speak from our mind, from our ego. And when we speak from our mind and our ego, we speak in facts. So facts are not necessarily always truth. Truth has always got a paradox to it. Facts are very black and white. We speak from a place of judgment when we speak from our mind. We speak from a place of right and wrong. We speak from a place of ego, of competitiveness, of aggression. And one of the things that happens is we have belief systems in our mind about being polite and being respectful. And, so there may be things that are bugging me, but I don't say it because I must be nice. Because my mind says you can't upset people. You must just suck it up. Let's just deal with it, and we'll talk about that. But when I can connect with my heart, I'm able to speak what feels true to me in a way that people can hear me. And so really aligning this energetic flow, but at this point, we want to connect your voice to your heart. One of the ways that you can do that is simply as I am, put your hand on your throat and your hand on your heart and connect with intention. That only that which serves the truth, only that which serves the good of the highest order will come through me. Yeah? That when I speak up, I speak for the expression of truth, the truth for me, the truth for others, the truth for the whole. That I'm not going to be cowardly in this. I'm not going to hide away. I will say, but I will say it in such a way that people can hear it. Now, one of the best ways to heal the the throat connection to the heart is to find your heart song. And your heart song is when you feel your heart vibrate in alignment with your throat. And the way you do that is by humming. When you hum, and you can all hum now, your voice, your throat chakra vibrates, causing a fluctuation, and that can connect with your heart. And so daily rituals of humming are really beautiful. And I'm not talking about singing. Singing is an outward expression. Humming is an inward vibration. It shifts your energy field. And so humming and finding a way to hum, shift it as if you're practicing now. Go high, go low. Notice what's easy for you. Find a range. This is a shifting your vibration and connecting your voice to your heart. When you speak the truth, you are able to speak and say things that may be tough for people to hear, but you'll find ways of saying it that it feels gentle and feels kind. You can say to somebody, no, I don't want to go out with you, or no, I'm not interested in this, or I don't like what you've just done, or I'm really upset about this. But all of those things are said lovingly, gently, truthfully. The next thing is speaking is got a lot to do with listening and expressing. We have an internal dialogue that goes on all day. If you meditate, that's when you try and switch it off. And I'm not talking about thinking, I'm talking about the way you speak to yourself. Every time you speak to yourself, you will use words like, oh, you're doing such a great job. Or you'll say, oh, you're such an idiot. Why can't you get this right? Oh, that's just not working. You know, the sort of internal judgment and criticism where you almost lambaste yourself. Do you criticize yourself or cheerlead yourself? Remember, there's a part of you listening, part of you that listens to it. And the way you speak to yourself is the highest thing around vibration, and that's going to impact the way you speak to others. Whether you notice it or not, it causes a rift in your energy field. It causes a shattering. And so that alignment, that integration, that pulling your energy together so that you can manifest and create what you want is the connection of the way you speak to yourself, is with truth, not with criticism. Criticism is not truth. Criticism is a form of truth. If I've done something, if I've made a mistake, criticism is not the truth of it. The truth is you made a mistake. You tried your best and you made a mistake. What have you learned? Not you're such an idiot. You should have known that. Why haven't you done that better? Da, 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 da. So noticing this dialogue and really learning to notice it. It's there, to interrupt it. The new moon challenge I did for January was to stop calling myself names. And I offered that as a challenge to everyone, to stop calling ourselves names. And I was amazed at what that did in terms of shifting my own energy, how much more I've created since I stopped that. And I have to catch myself. So how do you speak to yourself impacts the way you speak your truth in the world. The next thing, remember listening and speaking. So how do you speak to the divine? If we think of all relationships as this sort of connection of conversation, where we are in a communion, we're in a way of interacting that creates that dynamic of that relationship. In all relationships, is, you know, if I think of my partner, Eric, or my children, it's the way I speak to them and the way I listen to them. And we have a relationship with the divine. And so the way we speak to the divine is also part of learning to connect with your truth. And speaking to the divine, the way we speak to the divine is through prayer. And the way we listen to the divine is through meditation. So your rituals of prayer and meditation. And remember, if I'm doing one and not the other, then if I only pray and I never meditate, then I'm just asking, never receiving. If I just meditate without asking, without praying, without connecting in that way, it's a one-sided dynamic. The infinity symbol goes out of whack. So looking at the daily rituals, again, of connecting your voice to your heart, the way you speak to yourself, the way you interact with the divine. What are your prayers? And do you only pray when you're angry? Most of us do, or desperate or upset. But this dynamic of both, and really, I really want to amplify how important the listening part is, the meditative part. Then the way we speak to others, I was talking about that earlier. Do we speak in such a way that others want to listen to us? When do we speak up? When don't we? Silence is also a language. Saying nothing is speaking loudly often. And so this is not only about words, this is about the energy that we give out. Do people experience me as authentic and integrated? If I say, I like you, is that truthful? Is there an alignment of my mind, my body, and my heart and my spirit when I'm saying these things? We'll talk more about that now. Do I listen to others in such a way that I can hear their truth? And that develops our relationship with empathy. And so the dynamics of everything we're creating and every relationship we're in, people we like and people we don't like, people we know and people we don't know. Often we're much more kinder and polite to people we don't know than ones we do know. Isn't that strange? Yeah. Do you speak to your partner like you would speak to somebody that you're trying to impress? with kindness, with compassion. Now, this is not about not having boundaries. This is really an important dynamic of when I speak to others, I am truthful. And in order to do that, we need to match the inside with the outside. What I mean by that is often someone will ask a question and I have an inside answer and an outside answer. Somebody may say, do you want to go out on Friday night? And my inside answer is no, I just want to stay in bed. My outside answer is yes, of course, because I want to please them. Every single time we do that, we override our inside answer with an outside answer that's different. We get out of alignment. We lose our authenticity. We're suppressing ourselves. And in some ways, we feel like we're betraying ourselves. Now, the inside answer may not be the thing that is fact. We may need to notice that and say, oh, my initial thought is that I'd rather stay at home. But as I think about it more, it'd be lovely to go out with you. And I need to integrate these so that they become aligned, so that I do not betray myself and that I can find authentic expression in the world, that I'm being truthful. And this includes a lot of what we call setting boundaries. Boundaries is a really, really important part of speaking your truth. It's probably one of the hardest things for most of my clients to do, and certainly for myself in the world, is to even know what my boundaries are, what I want, what's okay, what's not okay, when to say yes and when to say no. And if I'm saying yes on the inside, can I say yes on the outside? If I'm saying no on the outside and yes on the inside, that's a problem. But matching up these things is really, really, really important. And finding my way through that reaction, that adrenaline override, that amygdala hijack, that people pleasing, that perfectionist part of me, that part of me that's enslaved to seeking approval and safety, that means I just dismiss my truth and I'm not able to express it. It means that we're going to silencing ourselves even though we're speaking in the world. And those words become hollow and the frequency of them is very low. When everything's aligned, when the insides match the outsides, somehow everything gets more attuned to possibility. And so boundaries is the ability, and I love this quote, boundaries are the distance at which I can love you and me simultaneously. Boundaries are the distance at which I can love you and me simultaneously. Brené Brown has got some amazing work on vulnerability, as many of you would know. And in the vulnerability, we often, she calls it armoring up, and we protect ourselves. And then the things we say are not our truth. And she's got this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful statement. And I really encourage you to notice it. Clear is kind. Unclear is unkind. So to be clear means that everything, the insides match the outsides. Somebody says, do you want to go out? No, I don't really want to. It doesn't mean I don't want to at all, just not now. Or I can't meet you at this time, or I'm not able to deliver what you're asking me to deliver. Whilst, many of us think people pleasing is kind, keeping the other person's happy is kind. But it's not, because it's unrealistic expectations that we create. But when I'm clear with you, whilst it may be uncomfortable and it may be difficult, it's kind of because then I know where I stand and I know what's going on and I know what to do. So often we soften, and this isn't about being harsh, but we downplay things because we don't want to be clear. And to find clarity in ourselves is not that easy either. That's why all the other stuff, connecting with our heart, the sitting in stillness, the being able to integrate my throats with listening, being able to listen to myself before I express it to others. One of my big lifelong journeys is boundaries, and I continue to learn every day about myself in my relationship with boundaries. And sometimes Eric will ask me a question and my answer is, I can't find a no. And that then means I'm okay with it. But I've learned to listen. What is my internal yes, my internal no? And what is because I'm scared, and what is because I'm being truthful with myself? Because those no's are different. The yeses and no's based on fear is different to the ones based on what I want to create. Yeah. Fear can interrupt the clarity in a big way, as we saw yesterday. The next thing we need to know is the words we use, or the words we express, the stories we tell, the things that we say are the way we create. It's our expression to the world. It's the reason we call words spelling is because they're spells. We are casting information out. We're sending it out. And I'm talking about the stuff that's on repeat, the stories that we habituate. What are the stories that you keep telling? What are the words you keep using that maybe don't make you feel good? Maybe they're not truthful anymore. Yeah. Maybe there's stories that we've become attached to that are so representative of our past, but they're not necessarily representative of our current or necessarily what we're wanting to create in the future. How do I use words that are aligned with my desires? Remember, we were doing the desire map. How do I use words that align with my freedom? What are your freedom words and how do they flow from you? And lastly, to speak your truth is expressing yourself authentically. And what this means is an alignment with your values. What are your values? What do you stand for? What's important to you? But beyond that, the way we express ourselves is not only in our words, it's in our entire demeanor. The way we dress, the way we show up, our energy in the environment. How do we own our quirkiness, our uniqueness, our playfulness, whatever it is? In what way do you downplay yourself to fit in? In what way do you embrace yourself to express yourself? It can be through music or dance or talents or gifts or whatever it is. And you may not know what the answer is to that, but at this point, it's useful to notice that. So that's how you speak your truth. So the exercise for today is the freedom meditation. If you haven't done it yet, do it. If you have done it, do it again. It's a lovely thing to do. Next, and many of you have loved reading your comments around the pictures, is really taking these pictures that you've been working with all week and coming to your top one. And I know that's hard. You're going to get to play with the others, but the top one, what is the main picture that represents freedom to you? And that's really important to clarify it down to an anchor point. It's a feeling. Yeah. And today you're going to create your personal freedom blueprint. So let me talk you through that a little bit. Today, what you're going to do is you're going to take everything that you've become aware of this week, all the information in terms of your own freedom assessment, your desire map, the 5 principles of freedom, the mandalas, your pictures, your freedom mantras, your freedom song, the quotes, the things that you've been ruminating and all the things that are coming up for you. And you're going to create in your unique way a one-pager that captures that for you. It's going to be creative. It's got your picture, your main picture now. So if you've been doing it online, you can do this online or you can print it out. Needs to take center stage. The words, the symbols, the colors, the quotes, the things. Essentially what you're doing is you're creating, and it is a creative process, one page that when you look at it, you remember and you feel everything that you have this week around freedom. And you're going to have fun doing it. So you can play your song while you're doing it. You can, enjoy the process, feel free in the process. This isn't work. And so, maybe you want to do that today. Maybe you want to do this over the weekend. If you're going to be joining us for the Freedom Lab, I'm going to encourage you to bring yours with. It'd be wonderful for you to share that if you can on social media. You share it with your friends if you want to, but you don't have to, because this is for you. To put it out in the world is not necessary. What's more important is that you feel it. And so today in the sharings that you can be part of, because there's some competitions, is you can share anything that you've become aware of today. What is it that comes up for you? But I really want to encourage you to create this freedom blueprint, to put aside an hour. And it can be simply just a couple of pens and pencils, or you can get as elaborate as you want. But promise yourself to do this, to translate this into an artifact, something that you can use continuously in the year ahead, or in your life as we're moving forward. And obviously you'll be able to refine that. If any of you feel like you would like somebody to witness your blueprint and you'd like to share it with me, you're more than welcome to WhatsApp it or email it to me. Not for approval, not for recognition, but if you feel like you would just love to have somebody witness it and share it, I'm open to receive that from you. So have fun, enjoy it. You will also see in the email, I've linked to all the pictures of all the quotes that we've used. And so you can use any of those, you can print those out if you want. And I also encourage you to post those on your social media to create a frequency of freedom out in the world. And then you're invited, as I said earlier, to the Freedom Live session. So on Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m., I'll be an online Zoom session where we're going through how to use your personal blueprint, what are the habits of freedom, ways to integrate this into your daily being. And so it's only 250 Rand for the live session. There is a coupon or a coupon for the first 20 people for 50 Rand discount, so that's 200 Rand. And I really hope you join. If you can't join live and you want the recording, then you still need to sign up for the process and you'll receive the recording as well. So I look forward to seeing you there. It'll be an honor and a privilege to share. And if you do join, you don't have to finish the whole process, but bring with you at least your picture, one picture that represents freedom to you. If you've got your freedom blueprint, that's even better. So there you have it. Today, the gifts. This is actually the wrong gifts. Sorry, I have not corrected that. The gifts that are going out today is an e-gift card from Nicolette at Step Into Your Light. A LightWalker card deck. There are people that have not claimed their gifts through the week, so you still can if you want to. From next week you can't, but from this week you can. 5 people will get access to the Law of Vibration Evolve series, and then 1 lucky person will get another mandala from Angela of Shining Souls. So I apologize, the information on the presentation is incorrect, but the stuff that's on the email or the YouTube is correct there. So sending you lots of love. I look forward to seeing you on Tuesday, and I look forward to hearing how you have experienced this journey. Namaste.